Well, I started by thanking all of you for being with us, not just today, but for having followed our transition journey in Seplat. What you have witnessed today is all of the transformations that have been happening in the past 11 years. The first question from Business Day and the second one about renewable are related. I will yield to the CEO to give further details about them. But the message for us, when I was speaking, obviously, I knew that there are very many subject matter experts that will be speaking after me. But our real message for energy transition is the fact that there is a shift from the energy mix that the world requires, that our environment, Nigeria and Africa, requires. So it means that as the entire globe, the world, is speaking in reaction to the action plan for the climate, we are seeing disasters today in the climate. We see flooding, we see drought, we see fire, we see all of these. There is a consensus of opinion that all of these disasters are as a result of human activities in the planet. And it's been identified that carbon emission, carbon dioxide emission, and related gases, particularly the greenhouse gases, are responsible for this. They deplete the ozone layer and therefore bring excessive global warming. So everyone is in agreement about that. Everyone is in agreement that there are various things causing this. But we then move to what is the solution. It is addressing what the solution is that you hear various things. You hear zero emission, you hear carbon neutrality, you really, at an extreme, hear zero fossil fuels. Now, what we're saying is that what the world requires, and that's what this transition is all about, is what is the right mix of energy that will mitigate all of the negative things that human existence is doing in the world while still providing solution to what the world requires, energy. From our perspective, today you heard from the CEO, our purpose is to deliver sustainable energy solution to the society. That's why we exist, essentially. So any business we are doing must be aligned to this. Our vision is transformation of life through energy. So fossil fuels will remain a part of that mix. But what then happens is that as you then increase your gas business, our midstream business, you would have heard that we have been very active in the midstream space far back as 2012. So when we say that we are delivering 30% of gas to power, it is not something we did by chance. It's something that we made deliberate efforts and we planned and we have executed. That's what we have seen today. So are we going to leave fossil fuel? No. But as we continue to increase and add gas, which is cleaner, you are going to be seeing that when you put it in terms of percentages, you see that the gas contribution will continue to rise. That is because a lot more investment is going there. Now, on renewable, there are various types of renewable energy. But what we are saying is that we are not going to put the other energy solutions on hold until you arrive at the destination for renewable energy. But what we are saying is that the energy value chain is quite wide. What we're saying is that the universe requires cleaner forms. Therefore, renewable energy of all forms are important. But we take one step at a time. When I was speaking, I was making reference to scope 1 and scope 2 emission. And what I was speaking about is that if you are going to remove emissions from the atmosphere, you start from your immediate environment. Charity begins at home. So what we're speaking there is that everywhere we're operating, wherever we situate or locate our office or operation, we make the energy there as clean as possible. So what we're saying is that we're going to be seeing gas to power in these areas, or wherever possible, we do solar, which is renewable. That is the first component. So we're doing something there. But at the same time, we are not doing solar for charity. The overall message for us is provide the right energy mix that will deliver sustainable energy that is cleaner for the environment. I think I would like Roger to also speak to this, but there are very many ways we are playing. In the households, LPG penetration, preserving the forest and the rest of them. And now we have launched the Tree for Life program for Seplat. I'd like Roger to embellish that while we talk about the investment in renewables.
It's not just about environment. Sustainability is much bigger than that. Okay, so the UN almost 5 years ago came out with 17 goals around sustainability. Okay, so you look them up, 17 goals, 2 of which are related directly to energy. And a lot of the other ones are employment and hunger and water. So it's all about life. And if you look back, the genesis of that, it was socially responsible investing. That's what all came back to, right? And that was about not just energy reduction or going carbon zero or whatever you want to call it. It was much bigger than that. When you look at our strategy, it's clear. So our strategy is on three legs. So we're not going just renewable. That's wrong. We are 3 legs to our strategy. First leg is upstream oil and gas. We're not going to continue to do upstream oil and gas. But what we're telling everyone, we're going to get better at it. We're going to get lower cost. We're going to get more efficient. Okay, and it's that generating returns, dollars from selling oil, is about reinvesting those dollars in the rest of our business. Okay, so that's the first pillar, if you want to call it that one. Our second pillar is what we call the midstream gas business, going down the gas value chain. And if you look at the government and the PIA, what the government has done is separated out from upstream. They've created more midstream and downstream. Well, they always had downstream, but midstream, right? So they're separating gas processing away from the upstream. And we did that years ago. So that's what we set up. Our midstream business is looking at all of the bits from gas processing right down into power generation, electricity generation. And it's looking at LPG. LPG is cooking, bottled gas, and that's avoiding deforestation, which is a serious problem for us as a nation, and it's going to get worse in the future. Okay, 75% of our energy usage within Nigeria is biomass. It's charcoal and it's wood. And so what we're trying to do is, with LPG, we'll actually then displace some of the deforestation, which is a problem. Our gas processing will displace diesel, and we got the 5x5 problem. So today in Nigeria, we've got diesel creating most electricity in country. Okay, it's 5 times more diesel generated power than gas generated power, even though we're a gas nation. Okay, and the 5x5 means we're 5 times more expensive in diesel electricity than gas electricity. And what we're trying to do is build out the gas business to supply that gas into power, displacing diesel. Then we go down the value chain. We're going to look into strategic. We've said we will go into gas to power, gas to electricity. Our model we want is a willing buyer, willing seller model. And then we see that, that's pillar 2. We see that then as the bridge into pillar 3. And pillar 3 is electricity from renewable sources. Okay, and at the minute what we're looking at in 2 prongs. One is we're looking at generating a business from solar power most likely, although we are looking at geothermal and we're looking at other renewable sources. But what that will be to complement our pillar 2 and our pillar 1. Okay, so it's about giving an energy mix. It's not about one energy over the other. So to say we're going to renewable and forgetting what we do today, we're not. We're generating another source of energy from renewable sources to complement our other business. And it's very important. And why are we doing this? Because we need to make energy affordable and reliable. It has to be accessible to the population. And that's what Seplat strategy is all about. So that's why we're setting out today. The Seplat Energy rebrand, it's more than that. The purpose, the mission, the vision, the values, it's all on the website and our strapline. And that's directionally where we're going to go, in alignment with government. That's where the government's going, decade of gas and everything else. And we need to set out what the future is for our business.
On investment in renewable energy, I think it is the best way to answer this question is to let you know what we're doing in a sustainable manner in the sustainable energy space. And when we speak in Seplat, we are actually looking holistically at the solution. As Roger said, we are not looking to stop everything else and go just renewable. But you see that there is an overlap. So what we've decided to do is to give a lot of emphasis in the ESG narrative. And in doing that, we're investing heavily to make the environment itself cleaner. And that is what we mean when we're saying that we're going to be flaring out 6 years ahead of policy. That means that over 2.8 million tons of carbon emission and related greenhouse gases will be taken out of the environment. That is huge. That is a major, major investment. And when you do that, you are really making an audacious statement about environmental stewardship. And when we speak about investment in gas, again, Roger broke it down, but just to let everyone know, when you speak about energy, energy is not just electricity. When I spoke this morning, I said that 80%, 75 to 80% of the energy in Nigeria is done in the household, and its household is mainly in cooking. People want to eat food, and most of that is coming from firewood, from charcoal, and from kerosene. These are very dirty forms of fuel. But also, these forms of fuel create health hazard. The fumes that are inhaled and all of that, and it's estimated that over 4 million people die every year from developing countries from inhalation of fumes and smoke from households. That's a huge number. Even for the COVID pandemic, we didn't get something that high. So in Seplat, we have taken a very deliberate decision that we must increase our production of LPG so that it can replace the use of firewood and charcoal, so that not only do we make the environment cleaner, but we make our people healthier. That is very important. And at the back of that, you will see quite a lot of business opportunities that will be created. The stripe line Roger spoke about, reliable energy, limitless potential. In doing that, you see quite a lot of entrepreneurs being created, either those who are involved in selling gas, those who are involved in transporting it, and the rest of them. That's what and then the social aspect of the ESG is very important to us. That is why we're focusing on everything that will enable us create jobs, especially amongst the youth. And the way we are looking at the solution to power is that if we are displacing all the diesel that is producing majority of the power in Nigeria, we are in the process creating a cleaner environment. But of course, more importantly, every other thing we do in this area will create jobs. Give you an example. If you are able to provide affordable, accessible, and reliable energy to any small community, you are immediately going to fire the small and medium scale industries, isn't it? And once you do this, you create jobs in an exponential proportion. So that's exactly the message we're delivering. And that is S. It's very critical. If you do that and create employment, insecurity problems will be solved. Once you get that right, everything else falls in place. And then the other one is the governance. How we treat our people, what we would have heard, gender diversity. Seplat is noted for that. You can see all of the people doing work at our board. We make sure that there is balancing at places of work. We make sure that we have the women properly represented. And of course, you would have seen when we decided to do away with everything that has to do with related party in our businesses. These are the areas we're talking about. So it's not just an isolated investment in renewable, but it's an investment in sustainable energy and providing the solutions. Thank you.